Tee up. It's time for the Blind Golf Canada podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Blind Golf Canada podcast. I'm your host, Gerry Nelson. He's your other host, Darren Douma. How you doing, buddy?
Great, Gerry. Thanks. How about yourself?
Good. Golf season is nearly here. It's right around the corner, and yes, we are getting very excited. Hey, before we bring our guests in and introduce them, I want to send a shout out to a lady over in Austria by the name of Karen Becker. And Karen is a lady golfer from Austria, a blind lady golfer. She's also on the IBJ board of directors, but I was speaking with Karen by telephone the other evening, and she was saying that she was listening to the Blind Golf Canada podcast on the YouTube channel on her computer. So I thought, right on. We now have listeners in Austria, as well as, of course, Canada, North America, Costa Rica, England, Ireland, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Australia. The podcast is getting out there. It's getting around. So I was pretty happy when Karen said that she was listening to it as well.
It's great other people want to listen to us, Gerry.
Yeah. So, as I said, I'm Gerry. He's Darren. We've got Mark behind the scenes who always makes us look good and sound good. Thank you, Mark. And it is our absolute pleasure to introduce our guests today, Pearse and Julie Moroney. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you, Gerry and Darren.
Thanks, Gerry. It's our pleasure doing this.
Good. So, tell us a little bit about Pearse and Julie. Are you both from Ireland?
No, I'm a Manitoba girl. I was born and raised on a farm in southwestern Manitoba. We moved to Victoria, BC in 73, and I started university in 74. And lo and behold, there was an Irishman in 1975 who came over from Ireland to do postgraduate work. And that's where I met Pearse, and that's where our love affair began.
Awesome. So, Pearse, what year did you come to Canada to stay?
So what happened was, Gerry, we got married in 77, and I got a job in Ireland. So we stayed in Ireland for approximately 40 years, raised our children there. And I was getting close to retiring. I mean, I still worked up till COVID times. I worked part-time, but in 2012, I kind of retired, semi-retired. So we said we'd come to Victoria because Julie's mother was quite elderly and give her some time before she moved on to the next life. I came in 2012. Okay. But in between times, I've been going back and forth, you know.
I was going to say, you tend to go back and forth quite a bit, do you not?
Yes. We have a daughter and a grandson in Dublin. So, yeah. And I was also working, I say, up till March 2020 when COVID came in. I used to do a bit of consulting in the environmental area.
Great. Julie, I have to know, Ireland or Canada?
I fell in love with Ireland when I lived there. I really did. It's a wonderful country, and but I've really settled back in Canada now. Funny, for 40 years, I kept waiting for summer. I was an optimist. I kept waiting for summer to come and waiting for summer to come. So it's lovely having the Canadian summers at last, because they never really came in Ireland.
Right. Well, I have to say, when we were over there in 2019 for the Vision Cup, it's just a wonderful place to visit. And of course, we were at Port Marnock in Dublin, or just outside of Dublin, rather. And what a fabulous week it was! It was absolutely wonderful. So, Julie, if I may, can you fill us in a little bit on your eye condition? What it is? When did you start having problems, noticing that something was wrong with your eyes, or have you always had your condition?
No, it was 2008. That I noticed there was something going wrong with my vision. And I used to be a tennis player, and we lived in the southwest of Wexford, and I had a good friend who was an optician down there. So I went down to Regina, and I said, there's something going on. And she was very coy. She said, oh, I think I'm just going to send you to a specialist. And that was the start of it. She was very, very sensitive about what was happening. So I went to a specialist, and that was the.
But she was a sensitive specialist.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she was an optician. Yeah, she was an optician, and she referred me to a consultant, and that was the start of it. And within my family, all my relatives kept saying, "Oh, where did this come from? You know, we don't know of anything like that." But it turns out it is a genetic form of Stargardt's, I think, late onset Stargardt's.
Were you a serious tennis player?
Yes. Yeah, that was my probably preferred game. I always dabbled a bit in golf, but yeah, tennis would have been my preferred sport.
Would you say that? Oh, I'll save that question for later. Darren, you had one you wanted to ask.
Yeah, and the question we always ask is, how did you hear about blind golf, and how long have you been playing?
Well, I'm going to leave this one to Pearse because he was the one who discovered it.
Well, I think Julie got in touch through the CNIB with a lady called Susan Flanagan. She's used to be with, I don't know where she is anymore. We haven't heard from her lately, but she was with BC Blind Sports. And she put Julie in touch with this dragon boat racing crew, where 50% of the crew were, I don't know if you guys are aware of dragon boat racing. There's a crew of about 24 and 50% of the crew were blind or limited vision. So Julie got involved with that in 2018 into the summer with them. So Susan then mentioned that there was, blind tennis and blind golf. And I'm sure she gave us Darren's email address. So I contacted Darren, and he gave me a guy called Doug Stoutley's number, and we called Doug. I think we played a round or two of golf with Doug, and he assessed Julie for her handicap. And then we got in touch with Darren and signed up for the 2019 Western Canadians in Creston. So that's how it started with blind golf,
So you're going to be in your 4th year.
Yes, unfortunately, COVID kind of skypered a lot of stuff, I really enjoyed the Westerns in the Kootenays. It was just a fantastic experience. And then, boom, COVID the next year. But I'm dying to get back to some competitive golfing.
Darren, did you have another part to your question?
Yeah, I was just going to note that Susan Flanagan's still with BC Blind Sports, and the dragon boating, we're actually going to feature that in June out in Vancouver for our BC Summer Sports Days. So that's one of our features that we're all going to try. So I'm looking forward to that. And Susan will likely be out as well. So the other part of the question was if you were involved in the golf, have you golfed previously? And how long, if so, have you been golfing?
Oh gosh, probably about 40 years. My dad was a golfer, and we used to, hit balls down the lane on the farm. So I probably always could hit a ball. But probably Pearse and I, when we would go on holidays in the early years, we would always take golf clubs and play a few golf courses. And of course, when the kids came along, that kind of slowed things down. And once the kids got bigger, I joined some clubs and played competitive golf before the vision started going. So yeah, I've had quite a bit of experience. Yeah.
Good. I know you travel a lot back and forth to Ireland, as you said. Do you take vacations elsewhere?
Yeah, we've been pretty fortunate, we've been able to explore a lot of the world. I mean, Julie was into walking. She did Machu Picchu Trail and the Camino in Spain.
Northern Spain.
And similarly, I'm a big rugby fan, Gerry, So I've gone to the last 3 World Cups, New Zealand, England and Japan. And this year we're going to the World Cup in France, the Rugby World Cup. And we're also going to Italy for a bit of a cycling holiday. So I don't think Julie will be doing much cycling.
Oh, wonderful.
We're lucky,
I'm carrying the suitcases.
Then.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic.
We're lucky. Yeah.
How would you rate, as husband and wife, how would you rate your player-guide relationship?
Excellent, Gerry. Excellent.
Now that you've been at it for a few years.
And Pearse is a wonder.
I can attest to that because we played together, didn't we, at the Vision Cup?
Yeah, no, Pearse.
We were paired to, and we
Yeah, he's a good.
we even got a point that day, so it was a good day. We'll talk about the Vision Cup a little further in the show.
Pearse is a fantastic guide. Probably because I've played so much golf with him over the last 45 years. He knows my game and he knows my weaknesses. He knows that I have a big phobia about water. I'm a magnet for water. And he would kind of be really calm and stay me clear. And he very often doesn't tell me there might be water in the picture. Just so I don't.
One thing I noticed that day was definitely the communication. And I noticed at times, Julie, the nerves were kicking in a little bit, and Pearse seemed to really be able to just steady you, settle you right down. And I thought you guys worked really well together, communicated very well together, and it was a pleasure to be on your team and play with you that day, I have to say.
Likewise.
You carried us, Julie.
Likewise, Gerry. Sometimes I wish he would tell me a little bit more, but I think he has his reasons for not,
I find it works this way. They tell us when we don't want to know stuff, and they don't tell us when we do want to know stuff. Like, you'd think, by now they should be able to read our minds, right, Darren?
That's right.
Your coach has to be able to read your mind. You have to communicate. There's no two ways about it, for sure. And you guys, I thought, do it very, very well.
Yeah. We'd find out sometimes a little bit of loggerheads on the putting green, I thought that was the one part of the golf game I really loved, was trying to read a putt. And when Pearse gets it wrong, I tend to blame him, which is really daft because...
So is that why you're at loggerheads? Is over the reading of the putt? Or perhaps the distance, or what is it?
There's so many things that can go wrong with putting. You can turn your angle a little bit, but anyway, I tend to blame him when I miss it, but it's probably mostly my fault, but that's just a more...
Gotta blame somebody. You've been recently introduced to the women in golf, and Gerry just brought up Karen Becker earlier, who for the International Blind Golf has been promoting women in golf, and I think you had a little bit of experience with that and are one of our ladies that represent women in golf. So just wanted to get a little bit of insight on how that's been going and how the experience has been.
We basically stumbled across blind golf. I feel it's really, really important to get it out to as many people as possible that there is such a thing. And I was a speaker on that. And it was lovely talking to some women. There was one lady in Nova Scotia, and she said, "Oh my God, the Canadians are going to be there. I will go up and watch it." So it's just getting the word out that these events, this possibility is there for people. And I'm doing my best,
Julie, we are so glad that you are a part of that, and I know the hard work that it takes, and Karen as well. Karen does a wonderful job representing women in golf, and let's face it, we need more lady golfers anywhere and everywhere, especially in blind golf. The ladies, unfortunately, are so underrepresented, and it would be nice to have as many lady golfers as we do men, and that'll take a little while to get to that point, but it's nice to know that ladies like you and Karen are working on that. So that's good. We definitely need more ladies.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I try and emphasize that it is a sport that you can play into later life. I mean, tennis was given up a long, long time ago for me, but golf is something that you can do for a lot of years. And I'm completely inspired by the blind golfers like you, Gerry, who have no sight at all. I think it's just fantastic.
It's great to be able to do it. It's just for so many reasons. Now, Julie, the Vision Cup, we talked about it earlier, and last September we had the joy and the pleasure of playing the Vision Cup at TPC Sawgrass, and North America actually won for the first time. But backing up a little bit, the Vision Cup committee had recently increased the ladies from one per team to a second lady on each team. And I don't know if you know this, Julie, or not, but you are the first lady Canadian blind golfer ever to play on a Vision Cup team.
I actually wasn't aware of that, Gerry. I just feel so honored.
Yeah. So you are the very first one. So, and Pearse too, feel free to join in. Give me your take on that week and the level of competition and the venue we were at. What are some general thoughts around the Vision Cup at Sawgrass?
Probably a once-in-a-lifetime experience, let alone played on such a championship course. I mean, that was absolutely fantastic. A little intimidating, but fantastic. But the level of competition, it was just so much fun. I mean, Greg Cooper, the captain of the North American team, he was just fantastic at motivating us and getting there. And it was tough. I found the heat and the humidity pretty exhausting, but it was just so amazing. I mean, I kept going through these aha moments. I play in Sawgrass, It was a once in a lifetime experience, definitely.
Yeah. What did you think, Pearse?
It was wonderful. I was, we had a great week. I met a few friends of mine down there. I met you guys again. Always enjoy your company, Darren and Gerry, and a couple of the other lads and girls from the... I was amazed that it was so competitive. I couldn't believe some of the rivalries, I just was amazed at that. But it was beautiful at the end, like everybody got together and, that was it,
In four previous versions of the Vision Cup, North America had never won it. We tied one year, but because Team World had held the cup, the previous Vision Cup, they got to keep it or retain it. So I think we were pretty hungry going in this time, and it was a pretty amazing week, I have to say. And did you watch the Players' Championship on TV last weekend?
Unfortunately, we had planned to do it, but we got sidelined by other stuff.
Yeah, and I don't, it's funny, Gerry, since the old Live and the PGA split, I kind of lost a bit of interest in golf. I just think the professionals have become very greedy. And we had planned to watch it. I do this thing called the Players' Pool with a bunch of people. And after the second day, I had Matt Fitzpatrick. He was plus 22. So I was out of the money immediately. I lost interest completely then. But I would have loved to see. I think, there's one thing I loved, the little videos that came out at the end of the thing. Somebody sent one with you guys on it. And then Julie was on the 17th. And she hammered the ball into the water off the green on the far side. But she came back and sank the putt from about 30 feet. It was an incredible putt. Have the hole with Charlene,
Yeah, you did better than I did, Julie, because I hammered mine in the water straight away and barely made the second shot from the drop area to get it onto the green. So good for you. Speaking of the professionals, my son Wyatt last weekend, who was down there with me, and he played in the Pro-Am in the Scramble on my team, and we actually won it that day out of all the teams that were competing on that Pro-Am Scramble. And he sent me a text and he says, "Dad, what do you and me and Scotty Scheffler have in common?" And I texted him back. I said, "What?" And he said, "We all won a tournament at Sawgrass." I thought that was pretty cute. It's not quite the same level of competition, but the little bugger, he got closest to the pin. He hit it to 8 feet on that hole.
No, my boy.
And one closest to the pin that day. It's something else. Yeah. I in 2 rounds, I still have yet to hit that green.
Yeah.
So I have to go back.
I was just going to say I watched the players all weekend, and I was looking at that beautiful course and thinking of the opportunity you guys had to play, and I was so happy for you and envious, and I just looked at the rough they were playing in, and I was hoping to God you guys didn't have that kind of rough the time that you were there in September, because those guys were having a heck of a time out there. So, but great experience for you guys all.
Well, it was pretty wicked when we were there too, wasn't it, Julie?
It was tough grass. It was tough grass, but I was a bit more concerned that there could be crocodiles in all that water.
Well, we had a scorekeeper one day that she told us she had been bit by a rattlesnake on that course. She was reaching into tall grass to get her ball, and in a split second she saw the head of the snake. It bit her in the arm and it was gone, like it was never even there.
I'm glad I didn't know that story.
I think you've pretty much covered this next question, but what's the overall experience been in blind golf so far?
Well, when I started losing my sight, I kind of threw the golf clubs in the corner of the garage, and I suggested to Pearse that he might put them up on used Victoria and sell them. And when he came across blind golf, he said, "Let's go out and try this," because I was going out golfing with him and it was just getting so frustrating. And part of it was I don't think Pearse realized the level of my vision loss, and I was just getting very frustrated. But when I realized there was something to reach for, we went out and he became more help, and I just can't wait to get out this summer and play some competitions. And it's lovely reuniting with other the blind golfers and reconnecting with them every year. Can't wait.
It's really like a big family out there, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just given me a new lease of life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we are a big family out there. And so that brings me to my next question is, what's next for you in 2023 on the blind golf circuit?
I'll get my secretary to answer that one.
The scheduler.
The schedule.
Yeah, so the weather here hasn't been very amenable, very cold this year. So you played once, have you?
I played once.
And then I think we're playing tomorrow, play 9 holes tomorrow. So as regards blind golf, well, we plan to do the disability outing in McCreary in Vancouver. Darren, I think you're organising that, aren't you, in June?
I'm a part of it, yes, so that'll be great.
We'll be there for that. And then we go to Saskatchewan, Gerry's country, and play the Western. Well, we had planned to do Nova Scotia this year, but as I said, we have to go to Ireland and France in the end of September. So rather than go to Nova Scotia, the Irish blind golf is open in the middle of September, and we plan to do that one. The Irish Blind Golf Championship is on in outside Dublin, so that's our plan for this year, Yeah.
When we get toward the end of the podcast, we like to do a few little rapid-fire questions. I'm just going to ask you some short little questions. You can give me some short little answers, and we'll just have a little bit of fun with this. What's your favorite club in your bag?
I think my favorite club is the 7-iron, because if I start getting rattled, I pull the 7-iron out and it pulls me back into confidence again.
Right on. And Pearse, what about you?
But Gerry, I was hoping you were going to ask me what's my favorite hole in TPC. My favorite hole was the 19th.
Yeah, there's a few people, I think, like that hole.
I actually I like the pitching wedge, because I'm very accurate with it, So that's, I could, from about 100 yards to 110 yards, I'm pretty much confident I can get bang on all the time.
And it's a nice, easy club to hit,
Absolutely,
too, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's the one, yeah.
your favorite course that you have ever played, most favorite course you've ever played.
My favourite course would be Druids Glen, which is south of Dublin. It's a parkland course. They've had the Irish Open on it 4 times, I think. Spectacular, beautiful golf course.
Do you have one, Pearse?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I mean, any golf course sure beats working, but there's a course we played just once, and I'd probably never play it again. It's called Coeur d'Alene. It's in Idaho.
I've heard of it, yeah.
We went there about 4 years ago for the weekend, and it's just a wonderful. They've no, like, on the course, you have to take a caddy. They've no markings on the course at all. They don't tell you how far it is out from the greens. But they have one green, it's called a floating green, and they keep it at about 180 yards, and they move it this way and that way. But you had to take a boat out to it. It's incredible, you know.
Yeah, that would be a pretty unique experience. All the places that you folks have been, do you have a favorite country to play golf in?
Well, I think my favourite would be the USA. I mean, we played in Sawgrass, was just a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Yeah, that would be my one. We lived in Virginia as well in 2001 and 2002, and I played golf there. And so we played a little bit of golf in the States. Enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, I think, I obviously prefer Ireland to play golf in, but for weather, you can't beat North America, so here, and, it's a different game. So, there's no wind, there's no rain, so it's a different game.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
as I said before, anytime I'm playing golf, I'm blessed,
Well, and the links golf that you have in Ireland, and we don't have nearly enough of it over here, in my opinion. That's pretty special to play that as well. Get a taste of links golf, and it's pretty sweet.
Gerry, we were in Ireland for 3 weeks at Christmas. Our daughter had a child, and I have a friend who's a member in Portmarnock, the place you play the Vision Cup in. So we played out there, and the rain was coming in horizontally at 100 miles an hour. It was not a happy experience.
Wow. Well, yeah, you hear of the weather like that. I guess I played in weather like that in Scotland one year, and it was actually snowing or sleeting, and we played through it. But I could hardly swing. I had 3 layers of clothes on, a beanie, to keep a toque to keep my head warm, and but we were playing with a lady who was the rep at one of the local distilleries. So we had a lot of antifreeze that day, and to this day I don't think I could tell you what I shot, but it was a memorable day. Do either of you have a favorite professional golfer, man or woman? Or both?
I think I have a soft spot for Rory McIlroy. I remember seeing him on TV as a young little fella shooting golf balls into a washing machine, and I thought, I've got to follow this fellow.
I'd be a big fan of Porrick Harrington. I'm sure you heard of him. He did. I think he won the seniors last year in the States, and he won the Seniors Open in Britain. He's a fine golfer. We met him a few times,
And he's doing very well on the Champions Tour right now, I hear, as well. He's hitting it as far as he ever did, and just absolutely loving it. You're somewhere, you're going out for dinner, the two of you. What's your favorite restaurant meal? What are you going to be looking for on the menu?
I love a really good Indian meal. Coconut chicken.
Interesting.
I'm in heaven.
I suppose I'd be a ribeye steak person and mushrooms, Love here.
Well, guys, listen, it's been great having you on. Really want to thank you. And I know I can speak on Darren's behalf when I say we're really looking forward to seeing you guys again. Probably Darren will see you before I will, maybe, but see you in Saskatoon or Warman, I guess, at the Legends. So really looking forward to that. And Again, it was a pleasure to be your teammate in Sawgrass, Julie and Pearse, and had such a wonderful time that day. And we even won our point, which is good. So thanks so much again for coming on.
Good luck to you guys on your tournaments in the States and
South
Africa, Darren. I hope you do well.
Darren, before we skate, thanks again, Julie and Pearse. Before we skate on out of here, why don't you thank our sponsors for us?
Absolutely. Without them, we couldn't do what we do. So we thank AMI for their support, as always. CCB National, CNIB Foundation, all our Lions clubs across Canada. And I have to reach out for some special new sponsors we have. Robertson Bulk Sales and Protocol and SaskTel, as well as WestJet. And last but not least, I always thank ISPS Handa for their support.
Well, thank you very much, Darren, for that. And remember, everyone, at Blind Golf Canada, you can still play.
This has been the Blind Golf Canada podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms. Thanks for tuning in.